I don't see that. Or you have a countdown for
you're live here now on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube when we do it through StreamYard has a countdown.
Oh, okay. For the clock. That's cool. Andy Garraway, thanks for joining, man. It is Wednesday Night Live, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Eddie Alvarez, ¿Cómo está, amigo? 69. It's Wednesday night. Every Wednesday at 8, we go live, and we talk about whatever anybody wants to bring up, and we're here for you. Past life jester. Are you a jester in a past life, my friend? That's a cool name. I'm pretty excited. I actually found a planetary astronomer, not a cosmologist, really, which I really wanted to find, but I found a planetary astronomer to talk about the Big Bang on the next podcast, and so the podcast will move forward with that theme. I'm thinking about changing up the podcast format so that it doesn't take me so long to get them out, because the success of the TikTok has made me realize that I could probably just crank them out faster with me just blabbing the way I do, and then at least they're out there and people looking for it can find them faster than every fucking 2 or 3 months or 4 months. Is all I've been able to do since A, COVID, B, there's my girl, non-crazy cat lady, Demon Bones, ZZ. Thanks everybody for joining. I missed a couple of names already. D&D Ben, thanks for sharing the live. We appreciate that.
I think that's friend. Demon Bones.
Demon Bones. It says D&D_Ben. If Demon Bones did it too, that's awesome. Zelda P64. Hello, Matari Kinuku. 46. That's an awesome name. Is that your name? Matari Kinuku. And we are on YouTube too, through StreamYard. With our guy Atheist Animated. He's producer Jay, my good buddy, and he is on the speakers in the background. The podcast is also called Atheist Underground. There's my girl Keisha. Love you, baby. Thanks for joining. Nikki Paris. Welcome on board the train, everybody. We'll be pulling out of the station here. It is 8 o'clock. Chardock, appreciate you. Johnny Sundown, love it. It's almost sundown. It's 8 o'clock here, like always, in the Central Zone. And man, it's these are the long days. Who doesn't love these days around the solstice? The last few days and weeks of May, all of June, the first couple of weeks of July. It just makes you happy to be alive. I gotta tell you honestly, as a Gemini, as a guy who was born around the solstice, man, you could take your fucking winter. I know it's Wisconsin, and I don't mind winter, and I'm a hot-blooded guy, so I can deal with it. But the older I get, the more I just want it to be summer all the fucking time. Because it's easier for me to get cool in the summer than it is to get warm. When you get shitty and cold, don't you feel like it's harder to get? For me, with having no hair, anytime I see a hose or some cold water, man, it doesn't matter. I don't fuck up my hairdo. I can just blast it. Thanks, Keisha. You like to shave? It's already coming back. I shaved it for the Limerick characters that we filmed 5 or 6 of the other day, and girlfriend got real mad at me. She likes the beard, so I don't know how long the shaved face will last. And I feel kind of jowly here in my old age, but doesn't look so bad tonight. But it's already come back. I shaved the sides today and left the goatee, so I got some stubble. Want to know a weird thing Christians say? I don't understand. Kind of, yeah. Hit me with it, man. And remember to use the question box down below if I'm not, because I'm not always reading the scroll as they go by. Digitalis. I like that. As a landscaper, I know what digitalis is. It's heart medicine, but it's also a foxglove. It's a really nice perennial to use with a beautiful flower. But yeah, Zelda 64. Zelda Piece asks, "Want to know a weird thing about Christians?" Say I don't understand. Kind of. Oh, a weird thing Christians say that he doesn't understand. Okay, hit me with it, and I'll see if I see it. You're got-blooded. You should check it and see. Yeah, right. Hot-blooded. Check it and see. I love that, Chardock. Got a fever of 103. Project Pat Morita. What's that about? Karate Kid. Pat Morita. Noriyuki. Pat Morita. Rest in peace, Karate Kid. And Happy Days star is the original Arnold. Yeah, I know the typing sucks. Chardock, it's ugly. They do the same thing. I'm all thumbs when I get on the type, and I'm like, I got carpal tunnel down there, and it hurts, and my thumb doesn't hit the right friggin' character, and then I got them, and I hate spelling errors. I'm a grammar Nazi, and so I get really mad. Hello, Amos Luttrell, Tree of Knowledge. Hi. So if by their logic, okay, he's putting it Zelda P is putting it in the question box, which down at the bottom of the screen, if you're a follower, is a dialogue bubble with a question mark in it. If you put your question there, it'll stay there, and I can look at it. If it just goes by the scroll, I might miss it. Yes, hypocrites are the worst. And MBB Pants asks, that's why I call them hypocristians. You know, most of the Christians I know are complete hypocrites. Their whole religion, as far as I can tell, is based around hypocrisy. And to me, you know, if you're going to be that way, why be religious? Just be an asshole. I don't get why you have to stick to a dogma that you pretend is like really goody, and when you're just a putz and an asshole and you don't follow the tenets of that religion. Look at everybody joining. Thank you, LFC, Michael Stone drums, Kelly, I missed your name. Love you all. Let's see here. It's like a 4-part question. So if by their logic, if the reason to do good is to get to heaven, isn't technically immoral to an extent, since the intent to be rewarded in the end? Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Talk about hypocritical. It's like if you're only doing something for the reward, then you're not really doing something you know, just to be altruistically good. You're doing something in expectation that you will be rewarded again. So yeah, I got to agree. That's something again that Christians say. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Just like is AMC going to the moon? Who's AMC? American Motors Corp. They went right the fuck out of business, didn't they? I'm trying to get courage to tell my deconversion story on TikTok. A friend has requested it. All right, Amos, tell your deconversion story, and we'll spread the good news, man. We have one on. If you follow us on YouTube, you can look at our deconversion documentary. It's short. It's like a half an hour with a story of 4 people and how they came out of religion, and why religion was ultimately unsatisfying for them. And you know, it works for some people, you know, and as long as they're not bothering people with it, then I guess that's okay with me. Just, you know, keep it away from my kids, keep it away from the government and the schools. Joyous 2500. Doge can go after AMC. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Laugh C7. I'm a little bit dense sometimes. Inkwater.
They're talking about the stock market. They're doing kind of like they did with the video game store. It's sort of blowing up. I don't know if you've followed the stock market that closely.
No, afraid not.
It's up 500% currently.
AMC is?
Yeah.
But that's not the motor company?
No, it's the theater company.
Theater? Oh, computer.
Yeah. No,
computer.
Theater. Like, here, let me look at what they do.
Oh. Can you believe in God but reject religion? Of course. I think that's a common thing these days, because religion has really fucked itself. So, but I think there's a lot of people, and then they end up calling themselves spiritual, or maybe deism will become a thing again. But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who believe in God, but you know, hate the dogma of organized religion, and I guess that's a step in the right direction. American movie. Oh, the channel, the TV channel.
No.
Yeah.
It's a theater company. Like Tinseltown looks. I think no wait. Like Tinseltown.
Cineplex, yeah. Right? That's or Cinemark is Tinseltown. American Movie Classic is theaters.
I believe so.
Like, AMC is a channel on cable. Anyone with a brain wouldn't believe the stories in the Bible. Yeah, they're pretty unbelievable, and most of them weren't meant to really be believed literally. The people who writ them, the people who wrote the Old Testament knew that stuff was metaphor. All of the you know, the really old stuff, not the stuff that was like the chronicles of Jewish law and you know, some of Jewish history, but you know, the origin stories and all of those myths and parables. You know, people knew that was metaphor back then. It was just a way to describe the beginning of their civilization and the way that they understood how man got here without science to help them explain it. So the people who think it's literal today are literally stupider than the people 4,000 years ago who wrote it. Do any religions address what happens before we are born? I don't know. I think some of them have an idea, like they've tried to address like where souls come from, but that's another thing. It's like, is there just an unlimited amount of souls ready? You know, as the human population explodes through the fucking sky with, you know, when I was a kid, there was only 4 billion people. Now there's like 7.7 or whatever it is, 8 billion people on the planet. So it's like there's no end to the amount of souls that are available in, you know, in soul land or in pre-heaven or, you know, whatever the fuck it is. If you watch that movie Soul, they kind of address it in a cartoony way, I guess. But it's another, there's no logic behind it. How could there be, is God like really, he's just going to keep on keeping track of every soul and every person that's born? Sooner or later, he's got to get tired of that, I would think. Like the movie, Rob Thomas. Isn't that a rock star, Rob Thomas? Thanks for joining. Why do you think I'm an atheist? Maybe I'm just being dumb. This is all. What are my thoughts on non-organized religions? I don't know. People need that. People need some kind of spiritual crutch, or they need some kind of, connection to the astral plane that keeps them on par with, their thoughts and their psyche. If that's what helps them, then that's great. But, non-organized religion, if it revolves around some kind of spirit, some kind of, supernatural phenomenon, or, anything that can't be really proved, it's just as silly as organized religion in the end. If it's I'm a logical guy. I'm a reasonable guy. I'm a rationalist. I'm a an atheist because I can't accept that which is absurd without some sort of backup to it, some sort of evidence. So non-organized religion, yeah, maybe it's not as dangerous, but it's pretty silly, in my opinion. Another weird thought I had, I'm trying to read Zelda P's, like he's putting these questions in because you got a character limit on the question box. Isn't that the definition of lawful evil? I don't know. Another weird thought I had is, what if the fed up stuff in the Bible is to separate the good Christians from the fake ones? You kind of lost me there, buddy. I'm trying to put this together. Another weird thought I had is, what if the fucked up stuff in the Bible is to separate the good Christians from the fake ones? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being dumb. Why do you think I'm an atheist? You're an atheist because you're not dumb, my friend. So I can tell you that. I mean, if you can't believe that that stuff is real, then it just means you've got a little bit of logic going on. You've got too much cognitive dissonance to believe the crap that you were fed as a kid. Yeah, I'm circumcised. I'm not sure what that has to do anything. I'm kind of sad about it. We did a documentary on circumcision too. And it's horrible. What I learned now, makes me want to smack my parents, because I've gotten to the age where, you become desensitized because the head of your penis is keratinized from the circumcision, where it should still be moist underneath the foreskin, like a mucous membrane, like the inside of a vulva, like a vagina is moist, or the inside of your nose is moist, or the inside of your mouth is moist, and it keeps those nerve endings much more sensitive, obviously. And so the older you get, the least I'm only here because he's handsome. The older you get, the more desensitized your glands becomes, and that's not a normal part of aging. That is a side effect of circumcision. That's one of the things I learned. So I'm not sure what this has to do with atheism, other than atheists tend to be less apt to cut the tips of their boys' penises off because it's not prescribed by their religion. You like the Darth Vader statue? Yeah, he's boss. So I can move him a little bit, people can see him. He's holding a meerschaum pipe in his hand that I used to smoke weed out of when I was still smoking weed. But yeah, the big Star Wars guy, I was there 13 years old in 1977. So I was like, that was my wheelhouse when those first movies came out, and been a big fan ever since. I believe the Bible is nothing more than a piece of morality and a form of literal revolution. Is it a piece of morality? I'm not sure there's much morality in it if you've actually read it. I'm not sure what the literal revolution part is about. Revelation, do you mean? I felt freer when I knew God did not exist. I made life better. It made life. Yeah, I mean, I wonder about that, because a lot of people make that comment that if it's very freeing to become an atheist, and I've been an atheist so long now that I don't remember having a freeing moment, but I do remember being very guilty the first time I had sex. I was really, really guilty about it, because I wasn't married, and I had been, brainwashed to think that was wrong. But I don't remember like a time when I'm like, oh God, I don't have that looking over my shoulder anymore. I think it just kind of happened for me over a couple of years between the ages of 16 and 20 or so. But people comment on that all the time, that it's very freeing, and that makes sense to me. I don't remember that feeling. So if you got a story about that, then let's hear it. Due to the time period, so it's the new definition of God. Eric 453. Thanks for joining. Thanks everybody for joining. If I missed your name, there's your whistle. I love to try to give everybody a whistle. Just look at you. Robert to Phillips. New Testament stories of morality. Yeah, I have a tough time with that one too. I just don't think much of the morality of the day fits the morality of today. It's less evil sounding. It's less grisly. The God is spun as a loving God, but there's still a lot of shit in it. Like Jesus, he rejects his mother to stay with his 12 friends at some point, and tells people to hate their family to follow him. So, if you love your God more than your family, you're a fucking asshole, as far as I'm concerned. That's bullshit, and I don't see how that's moral. I was a Muslim, wore hijab and niqab. Freedom is an understatement. Good for you, Queen of Hyrule. Wow, thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing that with us. Ex-Muslims have a tough time of it. It's been on my mind lately because I got a video taken down for slamming the Muslims, and they can't take it at all. They're such snowflakes about having their beloved prophet criticized in any way or mocked in any way. And I'm not sure how that affects them, and how a God could be lessened or diminished by a mere atheist making fun of them. So to me, that makes them seem like their faith isn't very strong to me. But yeah, to be a Muslim, and if you were forced to wear the full niqab, and now you're out of it, tell us more. If you got more stories, and where did you come from? What did you do that because it was your choice at some point, or your family's choice, or did you live in a country where they forced you to wear full hijab and niqab? Very interested in that, and very, very, very grateful for you being here, and proud of you for coming out, and happy deconversion. And welcome to the freedom that you must feel from that. Isn't it hot to wear all the time? I would think that would just be fucking hot all the time, but different cultures. My Mexican buddies that I work with, they wear full sleeves all summer, and they swear that it makes them cooler to keep the sun off their skin. As soon as the sun gets to like 80 degrees around here, I'm half naked running around in the summertime. I can't stand having clothes on me when it gets that hot. I need the air moving around me, so I can't take long pants in the summer. My decision to call myself an atheist happened over an 8-hour book, The God Delusion. You listen to The God Delusion. Good. Good for you. And it's done that for a lot of people. I was long an atheist by the time that shit came out, so I never read it. I never felt like I had to, but I guess it has brought a lot of people out. Books and Bourbon. My crisis of faith was actually a call to reason and logic. Recovering Catholic. Good for you, man. So happy humans. Atheists are good people because it feels right, not out of fear of punishment. Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that. Most atheists, I feel like, are humanists, basically. There's some out there that don't care about anybody and are more sort of just nihilistic and self-centered. But yeah, I think sunburn ain't no joke. It really isn't. You got to wear sunscreen, especially when your pate looks like this one, man. I'm be checking myself all the time and going through sunscreen and wearing a bandana out there in the sun. But like I said, man, when it gets hot, I can just like put the hose on my head in nice cool water. And those guys think I'm crazy. They think I'm going to get sick from that. They're like, oh man, don't do that. Don't put the hose on your head in the summertime. You're going to get sick. I'm an atheist. Also 13. What's up, James Pope? 91, 13. Good for you, man. Hope you're not having a hard time at home. You got anything, Jay? Just break in. You there?
Yeah, yes, no, still here.
Okay, that's cool. I'm just rambling, so if you got something to break in about. Thoughts about the Church of the Subgenius. I don't know what that is, Eric. Something for us to look at. Make a note, Jay. Church of the Subgenius. What's that? That's me. I used to be a genius until I smoked too much weed. Now I'm just a subgenius. Raven 18. Thanks for joining. I missed a lot of questions. I know people are hammering questions on the right on down the line here.
You got a question earlier. Do you have any useless or weird talents?
Yeah, I got a lot of useless and weird talents, I guess. I've lost the ability to touch my nose and my tongue. Can't quite get there anymore. I used to be able to get there, but now I'm older and it's tightened up on me. I guess I got to the questions. Zelda P is going crazy with that shit. No, Gnosticism. Yeah, you know what? Gnosticism is cool to look at, but I don't know a lot about it. It's not really my thing. When we were with the Mythicists, we hung out with a guy, Miguel, like his last name escapes me, but he's into Gnosticism. And the Gnostics were a reason that Christianity had to have the councils where they decided what was real doctrine, because the Gnostics took a lot of early Christianity and went a different way with it than we would even recognize today. The idea of Gnosticism is that there's a hidden truth behind what we see, and then people who feel like they can discover that truth or look for that truth were known as Gnostics. So, they all had, and there was different kinds of Gnostics. I don't think they were all just one, but, they ended up twisting Christianity to, in their own way and making the people who wanted to, have a dogma where Jesus was divine and create the Trinity and the idea of all of that, they ran afoul of those people and eventually got hammered out of existence by the Roman Catholic Church, like a lot of things in history did. Hello, fellow heathens, old man Flux. The hypocrisy of Christianity and religion drives me mad. Yeah, that's why I call them hypocristians. I do, and I don't know many that aren't, and some are. I do. I've known some good people who try really hard and not to be hypocritical with their faith, and it's rare. Take mushrooms and Gnostics might make sense. Yeah, I've taken some mushrooms. I get that.
Here we got some questions in.
Go ahead.
Ever read the Gospel according to Judas?
No, I'm not a guy who's read the I think there's a Gospel of Daniel. Is there a Gospel of Judas, or is that a book? Is that a novel? There's actual Gospels that were left out. The Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Daniel. Among those that were left out of the Bible by the people who edited it and decided that that part wasn't for people. We don't need people to see Mary Magdalene's story. They just didn't think that went along with the line that they wanted people to toe. So is that what that is, or is that like a novel that I'm unaware of? I don't read a lot of novels. I don't have time to read a lot of fiction, especially.
Sunland 31 wants to know: is Zionism being fully exposed as very dangerous just now?
Yeah, it seems like it maybe is, and it's just, again, all nationalism has become a thing, isn't it, around the world, and from America to Russia. It's like people are so happy to be jingoistic, fascist, nationalistic, and it's no different. People are using, the religion, the Jewish religion, to hammer the Palestinians out of even having a sliver of that land, it looks like to me. But again, I'm not that guy. I'm not Mr. Political. I'm not sitting in front of the news reading and looking at what's happening over there, because there's fault on both sides. But yeah, I'm not a Zionist. I'm not a guy who thinks that we should be supporting the government of Israel the way we do, just because they're on our side somehow and Muslims aren't, and Palestinians are getting fucked, and it's ugly. And Netanyahu now, I did catch that Netanyahu trying to like take a page out of the orange Agent Orange fucking Trumpy playbook, where he's trying to pretend that the election wasn't legit and have people overturn it. It's like, come on, man, how obvious can you be? Right-wing shitbirds everywhere suck. They really do. Punished, maybe I was wording my thought wrong previously, but I meant that I was supposed to be. Nana in Virginia, thanks for joining, baby. Love to see you. Zelda P, you got a ton of questions, man. Amos Luttrell says that the Gospel of Judas is a real gospel and it completely rewrites the Bible. Yeah, I believe that. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I recommend that everybody read all that stuff and look into Richard Carrier too. He knows a lot about the missing Gospels, and he's really funny when he talks about why they were taken out, and he'll read some of the stories. He's got them memorized, some of the shit that's in it. And yeah, and that's why they take that stuff out. They wanted Christianity to be a certain way. People 200, 300 years after Jesus supposedly existed, put the Bible together as we know it now. And then of course it got, translated into 50 different versions every time they have stupider public that they need to dumb down the wording so that you get what this is, because King James Bible is like Shakespeare to people now, especially people in America who barely speak English at all. They don't even get it. Yeah, Richard Carey was great and a hell of a fun guy to party with. I want to tell you what. Josh Talbert, or Josh T. Albert, not sure what that is.
Hey, we got one from Pericles Perez.
Pericles, my guy.
Yeah. How much of our struggle with accepting morality do you think plays into believing in any faith?
Mortality, not morality.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it. I mean, accepting your mortality is a human failing, and people are, have a fear of death, and that fear is irrational, as we know. But it doesn't stop anybody from, from being afraid of dying. So I think that that's a huge one. I'm not sure there's anyone that's bigger, really, the fear of dying. Kevin Rubix is here. Thanks, buddy. He's a moderator too. Haven't seen any nasty trolls yet tonight. That's pretty good. Husam 727. Hey, bud. Captain Howdy 77 joined. Good to see you. I recognize that name. He comes by once in a while. We're having a good time. I was talking about having found an astronomer to help me with the Big Bang topic, so the podcast will be coming out sooner than I thought. I was almost out of hope that I would find anybody to interview. Nana in Virginia says she's not afraid of dying. Good. When you get to that point, I think like the older you get and the shittier your life gets because you just hurt all the time and crap like that, I think, people come around to the fact that, maybe it's, Bill Maher's movie on religiosity, religious, what's it called?
Religious. Oh, now I can't see it. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It went on a little bit too long. Big Jennifer Garner fan, though I am, and I was proud of her for doing that movie. I wonder if she's an atheist. Nathan Rio, I'm having a great time. You're a badass. I have no idea who you are. Oh, thanks, man. Nobody does. I'm just a guy. We just got on TikTok because we got some thoughts and it happened to work out. So we're happy to do this. We're here every Wednesday at 8 and every Sunday at 11:30. And back to the topic of a scientist that I found. I was worried. I sent her an email, and I'm like, "Could you be on the podcast?" And I didn't send it from the Atheist Underground email. I sent it from my email because I didn't want to let it out that I was looking for an atheist until I found a scientist, and then I was going to go to be, all right, thanks for agreeing to do this. By the way, it's an atheist podcast. Do you still want to do it? Or if you're religious, no shade, what might not fit with the show. And right away, she's like, no worries. I'm an atheist. And I was like, what was I even worried about? Because scientists aren't fucking religious anymore. Religious people love to say that they are, and that there's lots of atheist scientists or lots of religious scientists or scientists who believe in God, even if they're not religious because they can't explain everything. And I'm like, I don't meet them. Every scientist I've ever talked to in the modern day has been an atheist. They don't want to take answers for which there is no empirical data and no evidence to back it up. It's just not how their brains are built. And I think, people point to scientists from centuries ago, and that was different. That those people really didn't have the information that we have today. So I think that anybody who studies the cosmos and is looking for the answers to the origins of the universe, and I'm talking pre-Big Bang and quantum theorists and stuff, they're all fucking atheists now, man. And you'd have to show me one, and they're probably just like a high school science teacher. Those are your scientists who are religious still. They're just like people who are, that's what they got their degree in, and they got a stupid undergrad degree, maybe a master's, and now they're teaching 9th grade earth science, but they still believe in God. That's about the scientist that you get. That's that's still religious. I think the rest of the cutting edge scientists are just not anymore. They're just not. Where are you guys from? Is that for us? We're in Southeast Wisconsin. Got my what's missing here. I'll turn this around. No, hang on. There. Atheism, what's missing? He is. All right. I got my shirt on for the people tonight, and you can get that shirt at cafepress.com. Atheist Underground gear, Atheist Underground gear at cafepress.com, along with some other cool stuff. B. Hinders says, user, a lot of numbers is here. Blue-eyed freak, thanks for the roses, baby. I love a blue-eyed freak, don't you? I'm a green-eyed freak myself. Johnny Morden, hey. Josh T. Albert is back. You're from the Middle East, Hussam? Sounds like a Middle Eastern name, my friend. Hussam 727. What's going on there, man? Where are you from in the Middle East, and what do you got to say about the Israeli-Palestine conflagration and escalation these days? Ken Ham seems to find scientists. Ken Ham's a fucking idiot, man. If I saw Ken Ham, I'd punch him in his fucking throat. All right. God, I hate that son of a bitch, man. Dude has done more to drag down Kentucky than any redneck from Kentucky ever has, and he's not even from this country. It's just disgusting. We should send him right back. Marvin T. Carr, our guy. Marvin, how old a guy are you with a name like Marvin? You don't see many kids named Marvin, and not many Gentiles named Marvin. That's kind of a Jewish appellation, isn't it? That I knew a guy named Marvin, and he used to make fun of it. He's like, do you meet any Christians who name their kids Marvin? It's just kind of a Jewish name. I don't know what I'm talking about. Flash, the only lane. There's my girl. Michelle Tinkham Shepherd. Tinkham. That sounds like a British name. Where are you from, love? Tinkham? BMAX. Great. Marvin, yes.
Question from earlier. You have you read the Book of Mormon?
No, I've not read the Book of Mormon. Joseph Smith and we're talking about the actual Book of Mormon?
Yeah.
What was I saw the musical. What was that called?
I think it's just called the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, the musical is called the Book of Mormon too, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that. It's funny as fucking hell. But yeah, the actual Book of Mormon, I'm not interested in that shit. I'm having a hard time getting through the stupid fucking Quran. You know, people are like, oh, read the Quran. And I wanted to read it just because I talk shit, and I shouldn't really talk shit without knowing what it's about. And now I'm reading it, and I'm like, really? This is what this is? All right. Good for you. But from Saudi Arabia, and I support peace for a safe and wonderful world. I'm sorry for my bad English. No, your English is pretty good, man. What's that like? Are you an atheist? Come from South America or from Saudi Arabia? Or are you just here to learn? Either way, that's cool. I just watched this debate with Bill Nye, and he quoted a lot of scientists. Who, Ken Ham? Yeah, I mean, he finds the scientists that he needs to quote, I'm sure. And then there's some out there. I never meet them. I don't meet any scientists who say that they're religious and that they think that that they can't answer the questions of the universe, and so therefore they think there's a God. Scientists just keep trying to find out, you know. And someone argued with me that to think that to assume that science will find an answer is a fallacy, and I'm like, that doesn't mean they're not going to still try. I don't assume that they're going to find an answer. I assume that they're probably never going to completely find the answers, and they just keep on looking. Utah, why is Utah so full of Mormon religion? Well, Joseph Smith led his people out of New York and dragged them across the country, and the Book of Mormon describes the land that is laid out for them, their Canaan, right, their promised land, to be in Illinois. And so they went to, what's the name of the town, Jay, in Illinois? Starts with an N, I think. I can't think of it now. But they went to Illinois, and that's where they found it. And then there's just wasn't enough room for them, or they got kicked out of there. And so he changed the destination, and they just traveled west until they found a place where there was enough room for them to settle and start their civilization there. And that's what they did. And so Utah became the center of the Mormon world, and it still is today. That's why Utah's basically a Mormon state. Bruh, I used to be Mormon. Feisty felines. Sorry to hear that. She's an ex-moron.
Is it Nuavu? Is it kind of weird? It's
no, yeah. It's not Nuavu. If somebody can help. It's something like that. It's got a funny name. I could probably Google it, but I don't. I mean, I hate the dead air part. You go watch some people's lives, and they're just sitting there reading. Nauvoo. Oh, Navoo. That's what it is. Nauvoo.
Okay.
Right. I think it's not. She wrote Na.
That sounds like some Star Wars stuff. I didn't. Like
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's go back to Nabu and the sand planet. Yeah, Nabu. Yeah.
Atheist World asked earlier, which religion do you wish more people would leave?
Islam. It's getting too big. It's just like growing and one guy's like, we will outbreed you. We were going to have kids until everybody is, and atheists don't have kids. I'm like, first of all, I got kids. I know some atheists with kids. We're not trying to breed. We're not trying to overpopulate the world with atheists by having a lot of kids. But he's not wrong about that. It's like, if you have 20 kids and you indoctrinate them all to Islam, then Islam's going to keep growing until those kids get on the internet and realize it was shit and they get out. Or they're sick of the prejudice and the hate or whatever, or they're a woman and they're sick of wearing the hijab and the niqab and they want to get the fuck out. But yeah, it's just like, that's, I don't know, is it growing? I haven't seen the stats. They claim it's growing, and I think it's on a curve. It'll grow to a point where it starts declining again eventually because it's all crap, and sooner or later people they don't want to hear about it. But that's, the little ones, who cares, right? They're not a threat to anybody, but any religion that gets so big that it breeds fundamentalist quarters like Christianity and Islam do it needs to be stamped out logically. It needs to go away. It needs people to become educated and realize that it's only been used to control your mind. And when you see the way people's minds are actually controlled by that, it's pretty discouraging. Can religion be used for good? I suppose. I mean, I think that there's a lot of, alcoholics and drug addicts and people who've like saved their lives from the gutter by using religion, and that's great. I've said it often. I don't have a problem with people using religion as self-help, which that's all it really is. When people say Jesus Christ saved me, what they mean is they saved themselves by using the myth of Jesus Christ and the doctrine that goes along with it as a way to get better, and to lead a better life. And who's going to argue? If you're about to die on the street from having a heroin needle in your arm every night, and now you're a Christian and you're over it, then good for you. You got yourself out of a shitty situation. So yeah, religion can be used for good. I think that it's just on a curve where that the point is long past where it did more good than bad. Atheist Sanctuary is here. Our girl, the mama bear, the beautiful bald one with the pretty smile. I don't know. Jay, you said she had another account. Well, she needs to make us aware of that.
Yeah, well, I'll let her decide if she wants to share that. But
yeah.
She also changed her name now is Atheist Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's Atheist Sanctuary. We still call her Mama Bear because she said I could. But yeah, her place is Atheist Sanctuary. So follow her if you don't. It's a placebo. You're talking about religion? Yeah, it really is. Nana in Virginia. Sounds like an awesome person, Nana in Virginia. With a smart mind, my friend. Why are you an atheist instead of being agnostic? Because I got a set of balls, my friend. I got a set of balls between my legs, and I'm not afraid to own my confidence. But I guess we're all agnostic because we really don't know. I don't know many atheists who think that they know that there's no God. It's just there's no evidence for it, and he doesn't interact with us, and she doesn't make her will known, and it doesn't send a book down instantly in every language for everybody to be like, whoa, where did that come from? And isn't that amazing? Maybe there's something to this. So until there's a reason to think that there might be a God, then I'm an atheist. Was I a member of religion before an atheist? Is that what that? I saw some question go by. Yeah, I was a Congregationalist. It's a Protestant mainline sect, denomination that's largely crapping out. The people in those churches weren't such hardcore Christians that they couldn't either just leave it, or they wanted to leave it and go because it wasn't hardcore enough, and they left and went to one of the mega churches that are full of evangelical freak shits. So yeah, I was raised in a Christian family in New England. We went to church. We had a good time in church. Loved my experience in church. Didn't have any religious trauma. It's just in the end, when I got to be thinking for myself and went away to college, I'm like, okay, yeah, this doesn't make any sense, and it's just hypocritical and stupid. So it was easy for me to come out. Atheist World asked, when did you leave religion? Like I was saying, maybe, I was pretty much done with it by the time I was 16 in my mind, and I kind of hung on for a little while. I actually worked at a Christian camp the summer I turned 17. And my mom was real proud. I got a job in the kitchen of a Christian camp in New Hampshire, and all I did was make out with babes and drink beer, and never went to church. Imagine working at a Christian camp and like never showing up at the chapel. And the preacher was at the door, like, we didn't care because they didn't say anything to you, but he was just like watching and seeing who came in, and making sure. And then I just didn't even get invited back for the next summer, but I didn't care. All I did was party that whole summer. And it was a fun summer. New Hampshire's a beautiful state, full of rednecks, full of Christians. New Hampshire, New England's redneck stronghold, for those of you who don't know.
Atheist Mamavir posted her other account is at Cult Free Life is my other account, but I'm no longer posting there. That's what she says.
Oh, okay. But then don't follow it if she's not posting there. She came out of J-Dubs, and just like a year ago, it's an amazing story. If you were a J-Dub and you're like already as good of an atheist as she is, after a year, I mean, it's like, you've deconstructed and reconstructed in an amazingly short time. You're cute. I bet all the girls just loved you. Yeah, you know what? I had my, I was all right at it, but I was clumsy too. So it wasn't all that, but we tried. I mean, we tried hard. Zoe Zombie Girl too. I spent a night with this dude that I really looked up to because he was like a little older than me. And he was really good looking. He was popular with the ladies, and him and his girlfriend and me and my girlfriend, we like made out in the church all night long. We just like laid on the altar and like made out all night long one night. And I like still had a little residual guilt. I'm like, this is even for me at this point, this is pretty bold, like doing this on God's stage, as it were, at that point. Scott Goucher, what's up with the Scott Goucher dude? That's the guy that, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. He was giving our Jeff the Atheist troll shit, and I'm not sure if that was funny or if they really don't get along. Do you know, Jay?
I don't know. He's got a couple questions for you. He wanted you to explain how Jesus didn't rise from the dead.
Explain how Jesus didn't rise from the dead. Well, here's what happens when you're human and you die. You don't get to rise from the dead. Your body rots away sooner or later, and they didn't really have good preservation techniques, so they didn't like fill him with formaldehyde, and according to legend, he wasn't mummified like an Egyptian, which it kind of does preserve you if you do that. But then they take your organs out, and if you rise from the dead without your organs, that's not going to work out for you either. So how Jesus didn't rise from the dead was the way that none of us rise from the dead.
His other questions was are atheists a cult? I thought that was interesting.
No, because there's no dogma, there's no doctrine, there's no commonality that we have at all to work around. It's just that we don't believe in a god or gods. We're a herd of cats. We're like the opposite of a cult. We ought to be a cult. If we're a cult, we could at least get something done. We could vote together and get shit going our way. But no.
And a cult requires a central figure. Like one central figure.
Cult requires a central figure. And who do we have? The closest thing we have are the four horsemen, which is evocative imagery, and kind of ironic and kind of clever. But, those dudes are half dead, half stupid, and not very relevant really anymore. So yeah, I kind of agree. Atheism is not really much of a movement. It looked like it was going to be for a while, but we're just here to fight for our personal civil rights. And I wish it was more of a movement, because I do think we're fighting the last civil rights movement. What do I think about Buddhism? Buddhism's cool. I mean, as a philosophy, it's on the right track. I think it deals in the supernatural, which I can't really sanction, but at least it's an atheistic philosophy where you're just trying to better yourself. You're just trying to fucking be a good person, be the best person you can be, find the divinity that's within you, and achieve enlightenment. So I can certainly get behind it a lot more than the Western religions. Why it always ends so well. I missed that. All atheists share one thought in common. It's the disbelief in God, but not all think alike. No, not even close. And none of them can be bothered to actually get off of the couch and get together and do some activism together. Not none of them. A lot of them do, and a lot of them try, but not enough to get the whole demographic together and really make changes. It's just not. It's not in our makeup, I don't think. Some of us are just militant enough and pissed off enough at what we see going on in the country to try to stand up for the rights of the people who are suffering from religious trauma discriminated against in work, lose their families, can't see their grandchildren, can't see their brother and sister, get their cousins hate them, their auntie won't talk to them. You got your kid in school, and a Christian teacher is trying to convert your kid. When if it went the other way, there would be hell to pay. The atheist teacher can't come out and do that shit, or the whole fucking school would burn down. But the Christian nationalist teachers, they can be right there with your kids. And your kid might be a Muslim, your kid might be a Buddhist, your kid might be a pagan whose parents want to be able to have the same rights that Christian parents have in America to raise their kids under their indoctrination. Right or wrong, we have the right to raise our kids the way we want to. And if somebody interferes with a Christian kid's upbringing like that, the whole fucking roof would explode off the building. But if an atheist or a Muslim teacher converted if a Christian teacher preaches to the class, it goes unnoticed. And that's why they have these H2O and Awanis, right, and these clubs for kids, because maybe their parents didn't take them to church, but if your friend brings you to the kids club down at the Assembly of God hellhole for a Wednesday night concert or fun night down there, then somebody gets a hold of you and starts preaching to you. And maybe you've got some issues that makes it sound like maybe it'll be a good alternative to your alcoholic dad who doesn't bring you to church, And this way, kids who aren't raised religious get converted. They get indoctrinated. They get brainwashed by somebody else. So, it needs to be acceptable for people to not have a religion. And it's really not, to the point where atheists are more hated than Muslims in America. And that's bizarre. It's fucking bizarre. We're more hated than and we're less mainstream than gay people are. Gay, and happy Pride Month, by the way. It's still June. Love all my gay friends. And great job on them, coming out and making themselves accepted, or at least in people's faces enough to where they can't quite be shoved around as a demographic the way they used to be. But atheism is still we're still largely closeted. It's bizarre to me that we can't be as normalized as even gay and LGBT people are managing to be. And it's because we're not a cult. We're not together. We're not a solidified movement. We have no solidarity. Hussam, I understand you 85%. I try to improve my English by your live. Wish me luck, guys. Thank you. Thank you, man. Your English is fine, by the way. I mean, I know I talk fast and you're probably having trouble with that. But thank you, Hussam, for joining. We love you, buddy. Go ahead.
This might be a setup, but you got a question.
Bearded skeptic. Love you, buddy. Go ahead.
What's your point of talking about the Prophet Muhammad? Don't you think you're just disrespecting others?
You mean the Prophet Muhammad, who wrote a book that calls for the death of atheists? Why do religious groups that openly call for the death of atheists and apostates expect respect from those groups? No. Talking shit about a myth or making fun of a historical figure is not disrespecting people. I disrespect you if I told you that I didn't think it was right for you to be able to have your religion. But I respecting people and respecting a group of people is far different than making fun of a myth or making fun of a historical figure, no matter what you think. So sorry, buddy, but no. I thought Muslims were peaceful people. Did you see that? Some of them are. Many of them are. I would even go as far as to say that most of them are. Unfortunately, those religions have gotten so big, just like Christians, that fundamentalists and extremists cause harm on a global scale. And if you can't see the Muslim violence that's out there, then you're not opening your eyes. Islam, I'm told, I haven't gotten to the point in the Quran where Muhammad says to respect other religions, except Christianity and Judaism. That's right in the second surah. But, supposedly Islam is supposed to respect other religions. Did they respect Buddhism when they blew up the statues against the mountain in Afghanistan that were there for 3,000 years, art that'll never be replaced? That offended me on a scale. I can't even speak about it. I get so upset about that. Art is really what separates us from the animals, along with a couple other things. And for Islamic fundamentalists and terrorists to disrespect Buddhism in that way is disgusting. Why the fuck would anybody respect a religion that does that or allows that to happen? The rest of Islam should have stood up and spanked those assholes who did that, if there's any decency in Islam. But no, that didn't happen. It just happened, and they blew up the statues. ISIS has cornered the Yazidi people, a peace-loving, tiny religion, one of the oldest religions on the planet, on Mount Horeb, maybe in Iraq, and are doing a genocide, basically killing all these people, or starving them out, or raping their women. So they don't respect other religions. They don't respect other people, but yet they demand complete respect from everybody else. So again, it's hypocritical on an epic scale, and I'm really tired of hearing how I should respect a religion that calls for my death. That's the thing. They say that it's not their religion, yet they say, sorry, buddy, it's going by too fast, and whine and moan when people call him out. Yeah, Bearded Skeptic's my guy. If you don't follow him, you're missing out, even just to see that fucking awesome beard and hair that the dude has. So jealous. But he's got great videos, and he's sharp. He's right on point with his shit. And I've seen a couple of his stuff lately where he's like, the same way. It's like, no, you don't deserve respect. Religion doesn't deserve respect just because it's someone's religion. That's bullshit. Religion has to earn respect, like everything else has. You all right there, bud? Sound like you kicked over a chair.
Yeah, I knocked over some.
Producer Jay's at his house knocking shit over, trying to stay on point here, man. But this whole thing, you need to, don't, you're disrespecting people. You're disrespecting them. The fuck religion doesn't deserve respect. If people deserve respect, then I respect people. But religion in general, just because it's religion, doesn't deserve respect. If it does something respectful and deserves respect in some ways, like there's a lot of great charities started by religion. Religion has contributed to art, like I said, over the centuries, contributed to learning, contributed to schooling people, it's contributed to a lot of, disaster relief, all that stuff is deserving of respect. Rampant pedophilia in the Catholic Church, not deserving of respect. And if you're a Catholic today who still gives money to the Catholic Church and excuses what they do, then you are complicit in their abuse of children, their epic worldwide abuse of children. It keeps coming out. There's dead kids in Canada buried in the backyard of Catholic orphanages and all this bullshit that's coming out. Christians say they respect beliefs and they shit all over everyone else's ideologies. Again, that goes back to the intolerance thing. They say they're the religion of tolerance, but yet missionary work, which is designed to change people's religion to theirs, is intolerance again on a universal scale. They can't even tolerate the existence of other faith systems, and so they have to send somebody to a tribe in Africa to get them to give up their native religion, which is a lot more intuitive and beautiful than stupid, idiotic Christianity, which is derivative. It's guilt driven. It's fear based. It's not even a new story. So I would much rather have, every town and every country and every state have its own little native religion with its own myths. At least that's fun to study and look at. Did you see the teacher who was killed by Chechen Russian student in France 7 months ago? No, and I missed the beginning of that sentence. Sorry. One charismatic man leads to a cult. In time, it's called a religion. Ultimately, pain to. Yeah, the difference between a cult and a religion is that the leader is still alive of a cult. If he's dead, it's the religion. And the cult is still there, then it's a religion. I don't know who's told me that, but that's a definition I heard back in the day, and it makes a lot of sense, So that's really the only difference between cults and religions. Religion was only created as a ruse in order to control people. Yeah, I mean, it was completely twisted into that, like right after. I think it was created to explain shit like why the sun went down at night and we hope it comes back in the morning, or why it goes almost away in the winter and please let it come back in the spring, and where do we go when we die. I think religion was created for semi-honest reasons. They didn't have science, and religion was kind of proto-science. But it was like the next day that the leaders were like, these people all believe this fucking crap. Wait a minute. We can use this, man. You taking off, Mama Bear? Love you, baby. I noticed Crazy Cat Lady was saying goodbye to her, but I didn't see her saying goodbye. So thanks for stopping in. We appreciate you. B. Dunham joined. 2369. Thanks, man. For being here, and thanks everybody for the gifts and the likes. If you tap your screen, you can send me hearts.
All right, they might have jumped off, but this one is from Mr. I think it's pronounced Graso. Here, I'll let you see it. How can we explain our existence without a creator? He likes to.
Tangelo Grasso. Somebody like brought this dude up, man. That he's like the biggest atheist hater out there. It seems like a reasonable question. It doesn't seem like he's trolling with that question, but
no.
Yeah, that's a boring question. We understand how life started on rocky planets, and I've been through it a million times. We know how it evolved over billions of years. Scientists aren't even looking at that anymore because that shit's been answered. They're looking at how the Big Bang came to be, and how we can explain how the universe, came from a singularity that we don't know what was there before it. So that's boring. We're just another animal on a planet that evolved over 4.8 billion years.
You also have the reverse. How do you explain the existence with a creator? Like, I don't understand how it's just as mystical, and I mean, they have no answer to that.
Yeah.
Magic isn't really an answer.
Yeah. I don't know. Is this guy Italian? So I know Connecticut used to have a first elected woman governor. Go Connecticut. Back in the 70s. Ella Grasso. So Grasso, Otangelo Grasso. Maybe he's an Italian guy. I don't know. Maybe he's a Catholic. But I hear he's a big troller of podcasts and atheist channels. So thanks for the question, dude. And I don't mean any shade, because he seemed like he was being respectful. But yeah, though I don't really have a need to explain my existence. Personally, there's people who worked on that, and again, we understand. Now they're looking at Mars. The big thing is they're looking at Mars to see if life started to evolve the same way on Mars, and they find some of those chemicals, which are all over the universe. And the simple chemicals that are cyanosulfidic chemicals are in great supply all over the universe. They just happen to land on a place that was in the right distance away from a sun, that was the right temperature, and they had enough time and enough of the right oxygen being released by oceans over billions of years. I mean, the time is too much to get your fucking head around, really, that this took to happen, because humans have evolved like in the last hour of a 12-hour day. When you look at the age of the Earth, or the last minute, I should say, probably of a 12-hour day, if you're going to put it on a scale of time that we can understand. I heard once that the only difference between religion and cult is how much real estate you possess. There you go, man. Again, the Catholic Church, start taxing them, or shut their doors. That they're, them, the Mormons, there's certain, in the big mega churches, there's certain religions that are clearly for profit, and they clearly promote or prefer a political candidate, and they make it known, so they don't meet the requirements of a nonprofit, and we need to start taxing them. If you take a 747 jet plane, disassemble it, then a tornado comes and spins the pieces together. Huh?
I think it has to do with the idea that a creator somehow, he's comparing 747s to. Is
this guy Goucher a Christian? Is he serious with that crap?
I'm assuming.
First of all, we didn't come into existence and then spin apart into pieces and then get put back together. All you have to do is look up the way that life evolved on Earth, and there's plenty of people who actually studied it their whole life and aren't just like preachers who think that they can tell you that it's wrong because they don't believe it. Mikhail McBride, thank you, my friend. I'm your favorite conductor. I love that. Thanks for joining us. B. Dunham, we exist in the blink of an eye, and we make our purpose. That's right. We do. Jay Dellinger joined. Thank you. Rem Kovang ASD joined. Thanks for being here, everybody. We appreciate you all on every Wednesday night when we do this at 8:00. Do atheist extremists exist? I guess so. That's a good question. Only Lane asked. But what do they do? Extreme things that harm society? I mean, I guess you could call me an atheist extremist because it takes up an extreme amount of my life doing activism. We're a chapter of FFRF here in Southeast Wisconsin, and I do everything I can every day to fight Christian nationalism and fight indoctrination, and create a public profile of atheists as good moral people. We try to organize charity drives or join them. It's hard to even find churches that'll let us join. When they find out that we're atheists, we usually have to to go to the Unitarians, or sometimes some of the mainline Protestant sects will be cool and let you come help with their coat drive. But a lot of churches are just so bigoted they don't even want to let atheists help with their charity efforts. So If there's an atheist extremist out there, they're not blowing buildings up, and they're not shooting people en masse. Atheist World, when did you leave religion? I think I saw that one. I was, basically when I was in college, it became obvious that was bullshit. Should people teach children that there is no God? Yeah, this is a good question. Zoe Zombie Girl. No, I think people should teach children that that there's a 1,000 million different philosophies around the world, and everybody has their own idea, and there's no evidence that there's a God. I think that's what people should teach their children, and let their children make their own minds up. The earlier that children are exposed to actual philosophy and actual world religion, the less easy it will be for people to indoctrinate them, even if they're trying to at home. And again, Christians don't want to hear that. They're like, no, you know what? I'll raise my kid Christian, and when they turn 18, they can decide for themselves. Well, the problem is that they maybe can't decide for themselves. You are taking away a child's ability to think critically in a lot of cases when you indoctrinate them into unsustainable faith systems. Mythology is an ugly, powerful thing, and sometimes you can't get over it. You might think that and you might be able to. I did, but I wasn't raised in a hellfire and brimstone church. I was raised in a reasonable church that sowed the seeds of doubt in my mind, and my mental makeup was such that it wasn't hard to get over religion. But when you do that to kids, you take away their ability in a lot of cases to think for themselves, and so they are indoctrinated forever. And as much as you want to think that you're giving them the choice, if you do that, you're taking away their ability to do that. So I think if you indoctrinate, people are like, yeah, how do you indoctrinate somebody to atheism? Because there's no doctrine, but when I say that, I say exactly what you brought up. That is it wrong to just tell your kids that there's no God? No, maybe it's not wrong, but I don't think it's the best way to do it. And I found this out firsthand by doing it to my older daughter and my younger kids. I thought, what, it's no more better for me to insist that there's no God to my kid than it is for religious parents to insist that there is. So my younger kids, I just was upfront about them. It's like, I don't believe, and here's the reasons I don't believe. And you can look at your friends, and you can look at this religion, and you can look at that religion, you can look at these other people, and they all think this crap. But it's up to you to make up your own mind. And your idea of what God might be is just as valid as the shit that was written down by Bronze Age people 4,000 years ago, based on earlier myths. So the idea that that somebody else could have made up the truth about something that none of us can know the truth about, and that's worthy of you following, is because of indoctrination. So I say no. I don't think you should just tell your kids that there's no God, because you can't prove that there's no God. You tell them that you believe there's no God because there's no evidence. And the myths that have arisen and turned into religions around that belief are largely laughable in their dogma and their beliefs and their liturgy. So that's the way I think you should do it. Just teach people when they're young that there's all kinds of different ideas, and that their brain is perfectly capable of making up an idea of their own. We're all born atheist. Conditioning starts. That's exactly right. We're all born atheists. The Matt in the Hat is here. Didn't see you, buddy. Coming on. Love you, man. Yeah, it's Delze. We got people going on. Somebody telling me I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it. It's more you're just as likely to be wrong about whatever faith you were brought up in. If you were a Christian because you were born in America, that's just a coincidence, by the merest coincidence. And if you were born in India, you'd be Hindu. And if you were born in some African tribe, you would belong to that voodoo cult, whatever the hell that they got going on in your African tribe. So you might be wrong too. And then what? There's nothing about your belief that says that you happen to choose the right religion, because you probably didn't choose it. And even if you did choose it, what makes you think that one is the right one? There's nothing. There's no more evidence for one than the other. If religion didn't need to be taught, I don't think we'd be having this convo. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Guys. Yeah.
Hey, guys, I gotta jump off, my man. You want to say goodbye to everyone on YouTube?
Yeah, man. You taking off on YouTube? All right. Thanks for joining. If there was anybody on YouTube, and do subscribe to us on YouTube if you can. And we're going to keep going on TikTok for a little while. It's already 9 o'clock. It's amazing how fast the hour goes by. But
I put the link. I put the link in the live stream, so those who want to switch over, they can.
Okay. Sweet. Thanks, man. And thanks for joining on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Good night on YouTube.